Hello, I am making this video for those of us who are feeling a bit like we're at rock bottom. Maybe we're not quite there yet. Maybe we can see that it could get deeper, but we don't really want to go any further than what we've been. And, you know, a lot of tarot I read out there is quite fixated on the positives and doesn't really tap home for me in particular. Like, I see and feel everything in such a broad spectrum that it's hard to claim anything as mine. It doesn't feel justified nor fair to be assuming that all X, Y, and Z goodness belongs to me and I claim this and I claim that. And I don't know. When you're coming to terms with the mistakes that you've made in your life, it feels a little rude to be assuming that you're deserving of everything, you know? And maybe you're like me and maybe you're just coming to terms with quite a lot of realizations about where you're actually at in life. You know what? I am crying, and I'm probably going to cry quite a bit in this reading. So our first card is Vulnerability Meadow. Funnily enough, I'll show you my backyard. Hopefully you can see with all of the glare, but you'll see there's a whole bunch of flowers out there because I have not been gardening. And so it's quite funny because I think that card is very much resonating for me at the moment. So you're feeling vulnerable. Maybe it's summer where you are. It's winter here, but the flowers are out anyway. And when you feel that you're enjoying yourself and having a good time, it like kind of brings you back into the acknowledgement that not everything is going quite how you would really like to have it. Perhaps these moments of joy are, I heard christened in my head, moments of joy are christened with moments of bleakness. And I get the impression that this is all part of how the transformation journey goes. Green man, synergy. I'm just getting a clarifier for that volcano volatility. So it is kind of like that duality that I was just talking about, that as you come more in tune with yourself, you know, green man synergy, green is the heart chakra energy, the more everything gets more difficult and more volatile. I personally feel so exposed and vulnerable lately. Everything ends up being a bit of a comparison. This reading's not going so good. But I might upload it anyway because it's not like people really watch this channel. And, you know, if I go further with it, then it's just going to be part of the portfolio, isn't it? So I got follow the leader, details, and rock bottom. Well, that's kind of what I've been talking about. So, like I was saying, rock bottom, that's where it feels like. But like I was saying, it's like you're not quite there at the moment. You can see it can go deeper, but you don't want to go any further. Which means, you know, having to focus on things that you haven't really focused on before. That's why we've got the magnifying glass there. It's not a skull, but I saw a skull in this little image here. So that would be like a symbol of death, right? Death and transformation and whatnot. We got the mouse over here with a dunce hat on it, which is certainly how I feel. I feel like a little pathetic mouse that's having all of its stupidity exposed to itself. Like, currently feeling like one of the dumbest people on earth. From my experience with this card lately, you know, there's a lot of narrative out there on the internet that's, you know, going, if you haven't started your business yet, then blah, 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 blah. Like, why are you still working a 9 to 5, etc., etc. You didn't work on yourself. You need to work on yourself. You need to work on yourself. And I feel like that wave is over, that those are the leaders now. And if you, like me, have not jumped on that wave, then you're in this next group, which I hope I am in, because Lord knows if I still find myself in this damn situation in 10 years, oh, I don't know what I'll do. I just don't even know how to anything other than what I'm doing. But I'm sure that you guys would know as well as I do that comparison is the thief of joy. So if you're in this energy that I'm in as well, this concept of having to follow somebody that's gone the path before you, it can be inspiring, but if you're like me and you're not young, then it's awful to think of how many years are being saved for the people that you're following because they didn't have to walk your path, and just how many you lost so that they wouldn't have to walk that path. And even the simplest things are leaders that I'm trying to follow. Somebody that can keep their yard in order. I can't. I had somebody say to me not too long ago, why would I take advice from somebody that doesn't have their own stuff in order? And when I come across, not all of the tarot readers on YouTube, but like there's quite a few on there where I honestly look at their setup. I mean, look at mine, for example. Look at their setup and look at their presentation and the way that they're expressing themselves, and they're just like really high on self-importance. And it's quite difficult to take their advice at all, because you're just like, are you actually worth taking advice from? And I realize that we're conducting our work through our spirit guides and things like that, but if our spirit guides have convinced us to be giving advice to people when we don't really have our own shit in order, then they're not really spirit guides that I want to be rock and rolling with either, you know? And I've personally felt like quite a loss of guidance in my realm, you know, mostly over the last year, I'd say, because I just trusted and did what my guides were telling me to do, and they buried me, you know, they buried me. They led me to give all my time and effort into like reading runes and trying to hone in on people's energies so that I could make the room more comfortable. It just it's the strangest thing when you compare yourself to somebody, like when they're talking about um people pleasers. You get the thought of the person that's always like trying to preempt your needs and like really consciously thinking of it like, oh, such and such a person has just gone through a breakup, so what can I do that's going to make them feel better? Well, I know they like this, I know they like that, I will work an extra day so I can get some extra money so I can go buy them this, that, the other. And like, I mean, that just sounds like a good person, but or like more to the point, it would be like suppressing your will and desires to like placate people. But for that's more like a conscious decision, whereas what I've experienced has not been conscious at all. It's been just what I was compelled to do. And now that I've gone, wait, everyone else seems to have free will and I seem to not. Like, I want free will. I want to be able to do what I think is right and avoid doing what I think is wrong, rather than like believing in these like 5D energies compelling me to move in certain directions. And since I've removed the slave to the elements mentality that I've had, a lot of things that were just kind of like cruisy and given have disappeared underneath me. And like company, for example, I always would have like someone around, like a partner or a friend or something, and now I'm just alone. And I'm sure a lot of people are experiencing, like, a lot of people are like disappearing off the internet, and people are just kind of going into their own worlds a little bit more, which totally understand. I'm doing the same thing. But there's other things that have happened that the rug's been pulled out from underneath me, things that I just never thought would be taken. And it's like, well, how am I meant to even get started if I don't have anything at all? And funny thing is, like, that's rock bottom, isn't it? Like, when you have absolutely nothing. Anyway, so we've got rebirth, moderation, and leadership. Like, I do think that this feeling that we're experiencing, assuming you understand what I'm harping on about, I'm just kind of rambling about myself, my apologies. But if you've found this video and you're watching it, like, cheers. Perhaps we'll chat again. There's a couple other videos on here. Don't mind me. I don't really know what I'm doing. Don't think, like, unfortunately, there are a lot of us out here that don't really know what we're doing. Maybe you do feel the way that I feel, where you felt like you were just doing what was needed of you, and suddenly there's just no need for you anymore. And what comes of you then, I am not a divorced woman, nor do I have children, but it feels a little bit like my children grew up and my husband decided to leave because they'd grown up, and suddenly all that future that I thought that I had is just not there, and I'm living alone in a big house, and the upkeep is too much for one person, and I've never had to look after a lot of the things that are going wrong before. And we were raised to think that we were going to be mothers, and then we didn't become mothers. And we were raised to think that we were going to get married, but then we didn't get married, and not for not wanting to, just you were never quite the right kind of person for that, you know? You were just the one that they all thought was just a bit too much. And I hear a lot of people saying that, but I don't hear any emotion when they talk about it. I was 35 when I had a conversation with my mother. Like, we've been so much better than when I was a child, and I just one day was like why do you treat me like this? And she just said, you're just so difficult. And you know, I'm sure that you guys understand. I was only ever trying to be what I thought she wanted of me. And maybe it's the same for you guys. But there's a lot of people out there that really they do a lot better with themselves when you're nothing at all. And because you really just don't have a bad bone in your body, it's hard to build the willpower to hurt all of them. By succeeding. Because it means that they were wrong about you, which means that they were wrong about themselves, which means they made the situation in the first place. And when you're a highly sensitive person as well, you can feel that they don't, like, you feel the pressure that's on you to remain the same. And there's so many videos and stuff out there all going on about how you're supposed to just ignore that and how you're supposed to thrive off of it. But I just was not born that way. I never took delight in somebody else's suffering, you know. I don't want to see people suffering. I even have an ex that hit me, and I don't want to hear about him suffering either. And I, chat to friends and make jokes because I don't want to seem weird, because it's just so normalized to hate everybody else. It's just so much easier to just hate myself, you know? This is the worst reading that I've ever done, and I'm still gonna fucking post it because I don't care. May as well call the video "Watch Me Cry for 20 minutes." So, advice, we've got health, self-love, and relationship change. And I think that relationship change is a relationship to yourself. Health, this is all I'm doing to get through these times, guys. Avoid drugs and alcohol. It's not gonna help. And yeah, it fucking hurts. If you're just doing the drugs and alcohol thing, just don't even bother watching this video, man. Like, there's no messages for you here. If you're not gonna quit, like, just go. Get sleep. I've been eating like a crazy bitch, but I'm exercising a lot. So get some exercise, go outside. Try to listen to some good music. Try not to just listen to AI. Get off the internet. Health. Focus on your health. Relationship change. Self-love. You know, there's only so much we can do. And a lot of that is just what we're going to be able to do on our own. Because I think if you're part of the collective that I attempted to read for, I think the lesson that we're learning is how to do all of this on our own. And like, I appreciate just how hard it is to avoid addiction when you're like this, because addiction is what's kept me alive my whole adult life. Just alcoholism. You know, didn't have much to look forward to, but at least I was going to have a drink later, and like the drinks just disguised the darkness somehow. I don't really know how it works when I think about it. Been sober for a little while now, and like and I was sober for like close to 3 years at one point, and it's just like I don't really understand how it worked. Like I was aware of all of the things that weren't going right, but at the same time, it was just like, well, there's gonna be beers later, and then like, hanging out with people, like, or at least like being a weirdo and like jumping on Omegle or something and just like chatting to strangers when you're drunk, or like drunk texting people. You feel more relevant. You feel more associated with other human beings when you're drinking, and then when you get sober you're just like, I don't even know what I feel. And then you notice that no one was really talking to you anyway. You were just kind of talking to yourself. And yeah, so if you've hit this reading, I think that we're just on a isolation journey here. We got communication. I don't know what that card's about. 33, which is spiritual learning. So potentially you're going to get intuitive messages about where, what, how you should go. Intuition at the bottom of the deck. There you go. It's like we're set to receive some intuitive messages that are here to guide us into the right direction. Now, I just really want to be clear with this, because if you're part of this collective, then I'm going to assume that you've experienced some level of spiritual psychosis as well. And if so, the alignments coming in the next 8 years are all destined to make it even more likely to have more spiritual psychoses. And so I just really want to emphasize that if you're part of this collective that I'm speaking to, that the last thing that you should be doing when you're making decisions is consulting this. Because I think that we're on a journey that goes against the grain. I think that we're working with energies that haven't been spoken to in a long time. And I think that you would probably agree with me that the world that we're living in does not align to our souls. There's a lot of emotions that I experience that don't have words, and I feel like those words were erased from our language a long, long time ago, before records, potentially before rights, RITES, not human rights. Dude, I don't know, like maybe I'll do another reading. This was very strange, but Um, what I am going to emphasize is that trying to hone in on your own voice, your own inner guidance is the real task here. Like, you can read for other people, but don't consult the cards for yourself. Definitely don't rely on a pendulum to give you yes, no's, or whatever. I did that once. It drove me insane. Because the thing is, this is tacky, that you are important, you know. Your destiny is another means to express to the creator, to the universe, your interpretation of what has been experienced. And perhaps that's why we had that details card, because a lot of what we see is worthwhile undertaking is projected to us in the form of needing to be big, explosive, but perhaps your journeys and mine are ones that are meant to be a bit more quiet and underrated and maybe not even understood. But that doesn't mean you have to crash and burn. Just take the slow path and be thorough. High Priestess, harness your mystic power. And Shapeshifter. Fucking hate Shapeshifter. It's been bothering me a lot. Transform and unveil your gifts. Well, I guess that's not so bad. We got the wolf in front of us, which when it comes to wolf stuff now, I like to consider myself a lone wolf as not much as the next guy. But the problem with this whole lone wolf concept is that if you're a lone wolf, it means that you're really not okay. It means that you're genetically not viable and that the pack doesn't want you anywhere near it. Like, you can think of yourself as infected. Like, you got something bloody wrong with you. That's why the pack doesn't want you as part of it. So if you're honing in on lone wolf energy, don't be like everybody else then. Or, if you're being like everyone else, then you're just doing it to blend in, right? Don't try to infiltrate your gruesome self on other people. Not to be harsh. And that's kind of what I throw myself under. We got Falcon coming out of the head. Yeah, so it's like an overblown ego. Yeah, I don't know. This card, man. It just makes me think of someone that I don't want to talk to. And we got Moon, take note of intuitive messages, and Oracle, wait for important information. It looks like something's coming to us all soon. Excuse this weird reading. Maybe I'll start doing more. Usually I'm a bit happier, but I'm not doing so good. And maybe you're not either. Alright. Peace, friends.